Hi, this is Joyce Strong. We're here at the Groton Inn for Confident Women Consortium with my guest speaker, Catherine Collins, who is a registered nurse. Catherine is from Healing Ways Concord, Healing Ways in Concord, and her website is healingwaysconcord.com. Catherine specializes in a few things that has to do with adjunctive types of support. So in addition to medical support that people might get, there are treatments and therapies that you can do that really get into the working system of the brain. So reflexology, integrative imagery, which I think we're going to talk about today, and therapeutic touch. So again, welcome to Confident Women Consortium. I'm Joyce Strong from TotalWellCoach.com, and you may have seen me on the Totally Well show. And I'm going to turn the floor over to Catherine to get us started, a little talk, and then some demonstrations on what we do.
Yeah,
Sound
great.
Good? All right.
Thanks, Joyce.
All right. Thanks for coming today. Yep.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming out. So this may be a little bit different from some of the other Confident Women series lectures you've been to. How many people have been to some of the other? Oh, great. And I'm just curious, where are people coming from? How many people are from Groton, Harvard? Okay, great. Okay, I'm curious, what is it that drew you here today? Positive words of inspiration. Okay. Anything else?
I just love coming to these.
Well, it's great to have brunch, which was delicious. It's nice being with other women, etc. No traffic on a Sunday, right? Exactly, which is great. Okay. Yeah, Joyce.
I've been wanting to learn about how to tap into something beyond my worries and my sort of all of the things I've thought about in the past, or experiences I've had in the past, or things people have said to me. I've got sort of something pulling me to the future, and it's a little bit hard to visualize it. So that was my hope today, is I would be able to get a little more crystal clear on something that I already know that it's just a layer too deep for me to reach. And I thought you could be the one to help me with it.
That's great. That's great advertising, Joyce. Thanks. And that's exactly what this presentation is about today. Part of it will be experiential. You'll see on the table what I did was put pencils, paper, and some colored markers. Because at the end, for those of you who are interested, you can journal, write, and be able to take home your experience of today. As Joyce mentioned, there are 3 modalities that I offer to clients that I see, and one of them is integrative imagery. How many people have worked with imagery in the past? Guided imagery, somebody sort of talking you through, very nice, yes? You go to the beach or someplace like that? There are lots of different types of imagery, and I will be talking about that. But first of all, before I do that, what are some of the things, this is the Confident Women series, so what are some of the things that you think get in the way of our inner strength, our inner sense of knowing, our confidence, our inner courage? Yeah. People pleasing. Yep. Anything else? Stress. Major, yes.
Time constraints.
Huh. Can you talk more about that?
A busy day, so if you are out and about and you put in a very long day, being introspective when you sit down and have dinner and relax and catch up on Facebook, doesn't leave time for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. So you all have pretty much said what tends to get in the way of finding our inner voice. The other thing that no one mentioned specifically is our own inner critic. Anybody have that? So it's not just us. You know, it's some of how the media portrays us. Sometimes what family members may say, others may say, the judgment of others may get in the way of us accessing our own inner sense. And I'm going to talk a little bit first about imagery and then talk specifically about what integrative imagery is. And what I'd like to say, first of all, is I could have come to talk about ways to stand and have power poses. I'm sure some of the talks that you've been to before, positive thinking, positive psychology, all of that is incredibly helpful. But unless we internalize a sense of our inner knowing and our inner strength, sometimes it's hard to be able to actually do that. To say, oh yeah, I know the power of positive thinking. I'm just going to do it. So what I'm here to do today is to offer you a way to access that inner strength and then to be able to take that with you once you leave today. Hence the paper and the pens and the drawing implements. Each of us has a vast inner knowledge. We each have an inner wisdom. And the challenge is to pay attention to it. So that's, again, a piece of what we'll be doing today. There's a field of science called psychoimmunoneurology. Have people heard of that? It's a connection between our immune system, our endocrine system, and our central nervous system. So all of that is combined together. You've all heard mind, body, spirit, that we can't divorce any of that. The same with our immune system, our endocrine system, and our central nervous system. You had mentioned stress. There's no difference between the stress of the tiger coming down the road. How often do you encounter that? The stress of being, making a turn and somebody cutting you off, and then some of the worrying that we do, or a perception of what might happen. Anybody have the experience of awfulizing? Oh, I'm going to go to this event and nobody's going to talk to me. Oh, tomorrow, we just installed a new wood-burning stove. But what if? People have that kind of. So all of that what if, and the worrying actually increases our blood pressure, increases our heart rate, increases our cortisol level. Joyce.
I just wanted to pause 1 second there, just as Catherine and I are both registered nurses, and I know this is fairly common, but when you hear the word endocrine, it sounds like, oh, I don't want to go there, it's too technical. We're talking about a signaling system in the body, and that's hormones. So it's complex because there are a lot of hormones. I just want to drive home that point that we're talking about hormones that tell your brain and body what to do, right?
Yes, thank you, Joyce, for that. So if there is a term that I use, because I use these terms all the time, please feel free to just signal me that you need some clarification for that. And when I mention cortisol, that again is another hormone. When we're in the fight or flight mode, fight, flight, or freeze, some of us tend to freeze, it's first of all adrenaline that gets pumped out, and then if we don't stop our worrying, or if we don't stop the kind of day that you just mentioned, where you're go, 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 your cortisol level is the next hormone that gets pumped out. And if that stays risen or stays elevated throughout the course of the day, that is what is going to affect your immune system. That is what is going to affect your cardiovascular system, your blood pressure, heart rate, et cetera. And there's more and more research that's currently being done on that now. Excuse me. So when I say the immune system, what I'm talking about is the stress that you might experience, for instance, prior to the holidays. People get really busy, right? You're running around, maybe you're not sleeping. Does anybody come to the holiday and you've had the worst cold you've ever had? Ever go on vacation and all of a sudden you get sick? Probably because you haven't stopped. And that's part of our body's signaling. When cortisol is constantly elevated, as I said, it's impacting your immune system, and it kills off the helper T cells, which are part of your immune system that help to keep you healthy. Does this make sense? And this is something that we all forget. So with something like guided imagery, with meditation, with the type of imagery that I'll be talking about, we have an opportunity to take a break from that constant elevation of cortisol. Even taking 5 minutes a day to breathe makes a major difference in terms of bringing your cortisol level down. And again, that's something that we all forget. But if you can keep in mind that this stuff is real, and that's what helps to break down our bodies by not paying attention. So if you get nothing else out of today, you're going to have an opportunity to relax a little bit, because I will be doing a relaxation exercise, and to take away a sense of pause. I do a series of workshops called Permission to Pause, and so this is your permission that you're giving yourself today to pause. Okay, so what is this that we call imagery? It's a natural thought process using one or more of your 5 senses, and it usually is associated with emotions. When I talk about the 5 senses, what I mean is some of us can see in our mind's eye. Some of us are visual imagers. Probably about 80% of us are. Some, you only hear sounds. So musicians, for instance, may hear a melody constantly running through their head. They're imaging. That they're using their sense of sound. Some people smell. And that's what they're in tune to, is their sense of smell. Some people are kinesthetic. So dancers, for instance, have that perception. They may not be able to see anything in their mind's eye when they're imaging, but they have a sense. It's not just necessarily of movement, but a perception of something. Does this make sense? So those are different ways that we image. Most of us are familiar with the guided imagery process, and that's the process whereby I might take you to the beach. So you lie in the sand and you feel the warmth of the sand, etc. Visualization is having an image that you are able to access. Maybe on your desk at work, for those of you who work, you might have a picture of the beach, or you might have a picture of the forest, or you might have the picture of your favorite person. That is a visualization that allows you to relax by just gazing at that. Does this make sense? So this is some of the differences. Integrative imagery is slightly different. This is a way you get to access your own image through a guided process. And there are different types of integrative imagery. For instance, there's one called inner wisdom. We all know within ourselves a decision that we might need to make. For those of you who are lucky enough to maybe be offered 2 different jobs and you're trying to figure out which one you want, you know which one you want, but your mind is going a mile a minute trying to figure it out, or people are telling you what you should do. Accessing your inner wisdom through a guided imagery, or through a guided process of accessing your own image, allows you to know what to do. So we all have this inner sense of knowing within us. There is an inner healer, there's a way of dealing with pain, all of this through this integrative imagery process. So this is slightly different from a guided imagery. Sometimes when people get in a relaxed state, they think I'm hypnotizing them. I'm not hypnotizing you. And there are different types of hypnotism. Some are self-guided, some are with a trained person who's taking you through that process. When we do the process today, you're in control. You stop at any time. I'll be giving you some suggestions, but you take what it is that you need. Does this make sense? Okay. So does anybody have any questions about the imagery process itself and what that is? All right. The other thing I want to say about the psychoneuroimmunology piece is that we all have our own inner pharmacy. And that inner pharmacy consists of adrenaline, that stress response, and it also consists of endorphins, that feel-good hormone. So when you go out for a run, or maybe you're listening to music you like, or maybe you're with your favorite person in the world, that is when endorphins are stimulated. And that's what can happen with the integrative imagery process. So the goal is to be able to access the inner pharmacy with the feel-good hormone. Sounds good, huh? Okay. So that's just a basic overview. What we'll be doing this morning is I'll be taking you through, first of all, I'm going to have you identify a time in your life when you felt the most confident, when you felt the most strong, when you felt really good about yourself. And maybe it was when you were 11, before you started doubting yourself. Then I'll take you through a process of being able to take that strength and go to a time that you might need it. So anybody have a difficult meeting this week that they are anticipating? A difficult conversation that they're anticipating having? Joyce is nodding her head. Any other kind of difficult situation, you will be able to take that and bring it there. And I'm smiling because sometimes people say, oh yeah, really? Okay. What I'd like to do is, yeah, Joyce.
I have a question. So we're going to create an image from an experience. That's
You might be taking just the quality of what this sense of strength or this sense of confidence feels like, and through a series of questions that I'll be asking you that you answer in your head silently, then yes, you can access an image.
okay, because mine immediately was being young enough to ride my bike without my shirt on. So
Okay,
I'm
so a
thinking,
piece of that is, how did you feel about being young enough to... Free!
free,
Okay.
and unjudged.
And when you were feeling free and not
Open.
judged, how did that feel in your body?
Like I could fly.
Oh,
Like when I
okay.
skate.
Okay, like you could fly. And where in your body are you feeling that?
All over.
All
I'm
over.
weightless.
Okay, and you're smiling.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So yeah, that might be a quality that you would want to access. And I'll just give you an example of, and this will make more sense when we go through the process. When I was trying to access an inner strength, when I was going through my training for integrative imagery, I was working with one of my colleagues. And we were accessing my inner strength. The image that came to me was this Native American Andean woman. She had long black hair. She had on a purple cloak. I don't think Andean women wear purple cloaks, but this one had a purple cloak. And her name was Raven. All of a sudden, she came to me. And I, at the time, was in a difficult work situation, in anticipating having a difficult conversation with my supervisor. Got into the room, was having the difficult conversation. Of course, I immediately forgot about what I had learned. But there was a pause in the conversation. I took a deep breath. I looked over at the blank wall, and Raven showed up. I said, oh, thank you. I immediately was able to calm down. This may sound magical, but when you experience this, you do have an opportunity to access that inner strength again. And I've never forgotten Raven. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, so first of all, what I'd like you to do is have a sense of what accessing your senses through an imagery process feels like, okay? So what I'd like you to do for those, and if you just want to listen to me and you don't want to participate, that's fine. I'm not going to be offended. What I'd like you to do is just sit back in your chair, close your eyes, and take yourself to the grocery store. Any grocery store, it doesn't matter. You're making something at home and you need a lemon. So I'd like you to go to the grocery store, go over to the produce section, and I want you to pick up a lemon. Take a look at that lemon. Notice its color. Hold it in your hand. What does it feel like? Is it heavy, round? Is it a smooth surface? Is it a rough surface? What does it feel like? Put it in your bag. Take yourself back to your kitchen. Put the lemon on a cutting board and just take a knife and slice the lemon into quarters. And I want you to just smell that lemon. Be aware of what the lemon smells like. Just pick up the lemon and just take a bite. Notice what it tastes like. Notice how your mouth feels when you're biting the lemon. Just savor it in your mouth for a moment. Swallow it if you'd like. And just throw that section of the lemon away. And you can come back into the room after having experienced tasting, smelling, seeing the lemon. So let me ask, could you taste, smell, and see the lemon? I saw somebody make a face when I... Huh? You could see it, okay. And could you taste it?
Yeah, I can feel like that sour.
Yeah. Well, that's accessing your senses. That's a way of imaging. And that's a piece of what we'll be doing when we go through this process. So before I have you go through this process, do you have any questions? All right. What I'm going to do is have you sit. I'll take you through relaxation. I'm going to have you do a body scan, which is relaxing you from head to toe. I'll then, and you'll all be in different places. This type of imagery work actually works best one-on-one because then I can have a dialogue with the person. But it's also amenable to group situations. So what I'll probably do is ask, if you're feeling relaxed, just nod your head. And if you don't want to, that's fine. I'll just take my cues from the people who actually participate, okay? From there, you'll get to go to your favorite place. So wherever it is you like to be. And I'll talk you through the same thing I did with the lemon in terms of sensing that. Then, from there, what I want you to do right now, actually, grab a piece of paper and a pen, if you would, from the table, please. Does everybody have pen and paper? Okay. So what I want you to do is to just write down right now, just think about a time when you felt the most confident. You know, Joyce was, what, 11? How old were you? 4. With no shirt. Yeah, 11, you might not have wanted to take your shoe off. So, you know, maybe it was when you opened a letter if you went to college and when you got into college that you were feeling like, yes, I'm on top of the world. Maybe it was when you got married, if you're somebody who's married. Whatever it was that made you feel like you're on top of the world. Maybe you received a PhD and it's when you finished your dissertation. Maybe it's when you had your first child. Whenever you just felt like you were on top of the world. And if you can't think of something, pretend like there's a time that you felt like you're on top of the world. This is where you get to use your imagination. Once you have that, is there a time, think of a time that maybe in the next week, the next month, that you might need to access that sense again, that quality of feeling in control, that quality of feeling confident. This is the Confident Women series. A sense of feeling courage, maybe a sense of feeling calm. Whatever it is that you just wrote down, being able to access that again. And if you can't think of something, that's fine. Does everybody have something, or you're still thinking? Yeah, that I'll be taking you through the imagery process. And what I will encourage you to do is, there's no perfect way of doing this. And I would encourage you to allow whatever comes up to come up, even if it seems far-fetched. I mean, I've had people have fairies show up. I've had people just have a sense. It's like, well, I don't know. I can't see anything. I can't hear anything. I just have this sense. So just stay with that. This is when it's really important to trust your body and to trust your emotions and to trust what's going on in your mind, okay? So now that you have that, what I'll do, as I said, is I'll take you through relaxation. You'll then go to your favorite place. And then I'll have you work with this image, okay? At the end, I'll bring you out of this sense of relaxation. And then you can either journal, just immediately write down whatever came up. And for some of us, it's drawing. And when I say drawing, sometimes people feel like they have to be artists. You don't need to be an artist. You can draw circles, you can draw colors, whatever it is that will remind you of whatever it is that came up. Okay? Is everybody game? Okay. So find a comfortable place in the chair. And either focus your gaze down on the floor or just totally close your eyes. And what I'd like you to do is to first just take a slow breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And a breath in and out. And I just want you to be aware of your feet on the floor. And that's all you're aware of are your feet on the floor. Be aware of your thighs against the seat of the chair. And that's all you're aware of are your thighs against the seat of the chair. Be aware of your hands wherever they are. And that's all you're aware of are your hands where they are. And again, just taking a slow breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Breathing in and out. And bring your attention to the top of your head. And just imagine a wave of warmth and relaxation that begins at the top of your head, flows down over your scalp, surrounding the top of your scalp, the back of your scalp, loosening all the muscles in your scalp. And the sensation of warmth continues flowing down across your forehead, just loosening all the little frowns, little lines in your forehead, flowing down over your eyebrows, bathing your eyelids, flowing down into your cheeks, flowing over your nose, surrounding your mouth, and surrounding your entire jaw so that your face and your jaw are feeling loose and relaxed. And now bring that wave of warmth and relaxation and let it surround your neck, loosening and softening all the muscles at the back of your neck and the front of your neck, and allowing the sensation of warmth to flow down over your shoulders, down both of your upper arms, flowing over your elbows, down into your forearms, into your hands, out your fingertips, so that your shoulders, your arms, and your hands are feeling loose and warm. And now bring your attention to your chest and allow that sensation of warmth and comfort to totally fill your chest, loosening all the little muscles in between your ribs, so that your chest is feeling open and warm. And take that sensation and allow it to surround your ribs so that your ribs are feeling loose and relaxed. Allow this wave of warmth to wrap around to your back, flowing down your entire spine, allowing all the muscles along your upper back, your middle back, and your lower back to just loosen and let go, so that your back is feeling warm and relaxed. And allow this sensation to surround your hips, your entire pelvic area. Allow your buttocks to sink into the chair. Allow your belly to feel soft and loose. And your entire upper body is sinking into the chair. And the sensation of warmth continues to flow down over the front of your thighs, the back of your thighs, so that your thighs are feeling soft and loose, flowing across your knees, down into your calves, surrounding your shins, flowing down into your ankles and into your feet, allowing any last bit of tension to flow down your feet, out your toes, and into the earth. And when you're feeling a sense of relaxation and warmth, just gently nod your head. Being in this warm, relaxed state, take yourself to your favorite place, a place that you really like to be. Some place that you feel comforted, some place that you feel strong, some place that you feel alive. And just allow yourself to be there for a moment. Take a moment to look around. Have your body turn 360 degrees, noticing what's around you. Any shapes, colors. Perhaps you're alone or with someone else. Just make note of what's around you. Be aware of how the air feels on your skin, how your skin temperature feels. Note any familiar sounds in this place. Sounds that provide comfort, sounds that you remember about this place that you love. Be aware of any smells, any aromas that are familiar and comforting that you like in this place. And just allow yourself to be in this place for a moment, enjoying the sense of comfort and relaxation. And as you're in this place, just call to mind that sense that you wrote down, that quality of feeling at the top of your game, of feeling confident. That time in your life when you had this sense of inner strength. Just take a moment to call that up. And when you have that sensation, just gently nod your head. If you're having a hard time accessing that situation, just make one up. What I'd like you to do with that sensation is to pretend you have a radio dial and you can control the volume. Maybe you're good at the volume that it is. Maybe you'd like to just ratchet it up a little bit. So just take a moment to have that sensation. Notice where it is in your body. Notice how your body feels with this sensation. This is a sensation of courage or confidence. It's a quality of strength. Just notice where you're feeling it and what volume you'd like that to be at. So just again, take a moment to adjust your dial. Might be fine where it is. Maybe you need to turn it up. Maybe you'd like to tone it down a bit. As you're accessing this quality, just allow an image to form that will remind you of this quality. Just take a moment to come up with the image, anything that comes up that feels positive. When you have an image, just gently nod your head. What are you aware of with this image? Does this image have a name? Just take a moment to ask and see if it responds. What seems important about this image? What about this feels important to you? Take a moment to really explore the image and describe it to yourself. All the qualities, maybe a sense of calmness, maybe a color. What does this image sound, look, feel like? Notice how you're feeling with this image. Now take that sense of inner strength, inner calm, whatever image came to mind, and take yourself to that time in the future that you may need to call upon this image. Just allow yourself to be in the space with this sensation of strength, confidence, with this positive sensation in your body. And with whatever sense or whatever visual image or whatever sound came to mind, and just be in this challenging situation. You're focusing on the positive quality. You may need to ask this image how you should be in this situation. So take a moment to ask the image how you should be. Notice what the image says. And just be in this situation for another moment, using your dial, if you need to ratchet up the positive strength, the positive quality. Be in this situation. And just take a moment to take a deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. And find something about this image or something about this sensation, whether it be a color, a sense, something that will allow you to access this again when you need it. When you have your cue of when you can go back to this image, just gently nod your head. Just take a moment to thank your image for coming. Letting that image know that you can meet again, knowing that the sensation and image will be there for you in the future. And just take a slow breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. Again, breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel your thighs against the seat of the chair. Your hands in your lap. When you're ready, come on back into the space. So if you'd like, just take a couple of moments to just jot down, either in writing or if you want to draw, or just make some colors, whatever came up, and knowing that this is for you.